Hi, my name is Kennedy, and I am in the AFRO 226 class, and I'm recording my midterm final video. So I have recorded several videos because I realized that the videos were more of like a personal, like therapy session, and that's not what we're going for. But, oh, what is that? But I wanted to discuss the I wanted to discuss the blackness of black women and the expectations of black women and the stereotypes of black women. So that's a whole lot, but for the most part, what I'm meaning is that a lot of times when you are discussing matters of black women to non-black people, they create an idea in their head of what that black woman usually is about, what she looks like, what she's going to sound like, all down to the T. And most of the time, white people or non-black, they could be non-black, also non-black people of color. These ideas that they create in their head of black women usually are always the same. It's usually a louder black woman. It's usually a black woman who has weave. It's usually a black woman who has longer nails. And why is that? And I've kind of always wondered that, like, what about that type of black woman is making her so black that non-black people are creating that idea in their head? I mean, of course, it's due to media. So seeing a black woman on TV, and the only time you see her, she's loud. She's, like, they love to do this. Let's talk about that. I've never seen a black woman do this in person. Never. I wear wigs. This is a wig. I don't pat my head. I'm curious as to where they even got that from. But anyways, little things like that, the long nails, all of that, they mock us. But now you see everybody and their mama who's not black is getting long nails, getting big lips, getting fake hair that looks like black people hair, getting braids, all down to the 9. But the pressure within the black community of black women being a certain type is so hard. And I don't know if the older generation can relate to this, but maybe on an idol type of way. So I guess during the 70s and 80s maybe, there was a black woman that could have been famous that you guys were always like, oh my gosh, everybody wants to look like her. Like, oh, her afro's so perfect, or the way her hair flips is this way, or whatever. But I feel like this day and age, it's a type of black woman. It's not even necessarily like a person, a celebrity, but it's a type of black girl. And she usually looks like, or it could be described as like a city girl type of black girl. And I think with that type of pressure within the black woman community, it causes for a lot of separation and a lot of miscommunication and a lot of people thinking that they can't relate to certain things. So for me personally, I grew up in Chicago. I grew up around a lot of different people. I would say half of my life around white people, half of my life, including now, around black people. But now that I'm at U of I, it's back to white people. But I have had many different changes to my appearance, good and bad. I say right now I'm at my good part where I've catered my style to me, regardless of my race. But I find that a lot of non-black people think that I don't identify with black because of how I dress. And I'm like, what? Or they think that I'm going to be the calm black person, that I'm going to be the black person that they can be racist around, that I'm going to be the black person who's not going to look at them crazy when they say the N-word, or I'm going to say, oh, you can say nigga as long as it's, excuse my language. You can say the N-word as long as it's not As long as it's in a song or something, or it's not the ER one. No, no, ma'am. I'm not that black person, and if you are that black person, please seek help. Because on a serious note, like, please seek help, because that's like a personal thing that you think that your blackness is like a caricature. You don't actually see it as something that's valued. Like, being black is a privilege, in my opinion. It might not come with the same thing as white privilege comes with, but I love being black. I love my skin color. I love my hair texture. I love my heritage. I love my history. I love all of it. But they think that I'm the okay white black person, because their idea of how black women usually are is not what I am. So I got white people judging me because they like, oh, you don't even listen to the same music as your people. Just because I don't listen to rap in front of you doesn't mean that I'm not black. Just because I might not listen to rap. I do listen to rap, but I know black people who don't listen to rap. I know black people who don't eat chicken. I know black people who do not wear their hair out. What does that have to do with their blackness? Let's talk about it. And I feel like the standards are much, much harsher on the black women community. Because if you don't look or sound or dress a certain way to the T in 2021, like if you don't have baby hairs, if you don't have acrylic nails, if you don't have tight skinny jeans on, if you don't have a BBL, they're like, are you even a black woman? If you don't have big lips, are you even a black woman? And you got white people saying this to black women. We have our whole community so effed up that white people think that they can critique black women. No. It's not so to me. And that kind of discusses like the black girls who grew up in the suburbs who straighten their hair. No one loves self-hatred. And I'm not here to excuse it. Those people need to be guided. Not everybody wants to be guided. And I think we have to stop assuming that sorry, I got cut off because my roommate came in. But I think we have to stop assuming that everybody wants to be guided, because yeah, we might think it's helpful, but sometimes it can really come off very forceful and very judgy. And if you're a black girl who grew up amongst white people, you're going to be like, it's a bad thing that I have white friends. It's a bad thing I want to straighten my hair. It's my hair. It's a bad thing that I'm dating a white man on a football team. Some people just don't get it. And I don't see why we have to just assume all black women have to date black men, or all black women have to want to wear their hair curly. There's different types of black women. And I think that's the statement of the day. There are different types of women. And I think as a black girl, that black should not have to determine everything. I'm not saying to forget about it. Like, I'm not saying to become whitewashed. But what exactly does that mean in this day and age? Because we can take a black girl who likes a white dude and they'll call her whitewashed. Or they'll say a black girl who has a bunch of white friends is whitewashed. Or they'll say a black girl who decides to go to PWI is whitewashed. Or she says she feels more comfortable going to PWI than a HBCU. Like, do we ever get down to the reasons? And if they do say like, oh, it's because black people never made them feel like they fit in, of course you shouldn't generalize. But there are things within the community that we do not talk about, and that's called bullying within the community, just because we're trying to figure out who is black and who's not black, who's black enough and who's not black, who's just the right amount of black, but who's not ghetto. Because to white people, they kind of all see us as either ghetto or they see us as acceptable. And we should not put that on each other. And as black women, any type of black woman out there, we should be trying to support. And if there's something that we don't agree upon, we can discuss it if that person wants to have that discussion. If not, move along. There's no reason why I should be scrolling on TikTok and there's a black girl who decides to post a video with country music and her hair straight, and y'all are saying, oh, this sister's lost. Why does she have to be lost? How are you not lost? Just because you decide to embody your blackness differently than her does not make you more black than her. It doesn't. And I think it's just as wrong for you to say that as if a white person would say that, because we're supposed to support each other even harder as black women because we know the ridicule we go through. So that's what I felt like discussing. I hope it made sense. I'm sorry for the change of setting, but at least I got it done. Thank you, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts if you have any.